Human lifespan extension arrives like a tech bros' holiday. Bold promises, glossy graphics, and just enough optimism to make your grandma invest. On one hand, the moral imperative crowd reads the science as a cure for needless suffering. More years to love, to create, to finish that novel you started in 1999 and abandoned for 3 binge-watching seasons. If we can reduce infirmity and wipe out the slow cruelty of age, refusing to try feels a bit like watching someone drown and suggesting they learn to swim later. On the other hand, the existential-threat enthusiasts bring popcorn and a list of catastrophes nobody wants to RSVP to. Imagine societies where power is sticky, because longevity makes incumbents literally harder to remove, where resources creak under the weight of extended retirements, and where immortality-adjacent elites buy themselves another century of influence. The slippery slope from extend healthy years to cultish cryonics oligarchy is shorter than technocrats admit when the funding rounds start sounding like prayers. Balancing these melodramas requires more than moral slogans and dystopian aesthetics. It needs policy and logistics, 2 words with about as much sex appeal as municipal budgeting. Equity must be front-loaded. If only the wealthy can top up their telomeres, then moral imperative becomes a euphemism for gilded privilege. Environmental carrying capacity, pension systems, and political turnover need redesigning now, not after the first cohort of centenarian CEOs decides the founding documents are suggestions. There's also a weird psychological wrinkle. Humans excel at making trade-offs when the trade-off has a name and a deadline, and we are terrible at imagining costs stretched over centuries. Extending life shifts incentives toward long-term thinking, which sounds good until you realize long-term thinking by entrenched interests can calcify societies. The trick is to use longer lives to expand empathy and creativity, not to harden hierarchies and hoard advantage. So is lifespan extension a moral imperative or an existential threat? It is both, depending on who holds the patent, who sets the rules, and whether we fix our institutions before we supercharge our biology. The responsible path is neither timid rejection nor reckless sprint. It's messy governance, fierce redistribution, and moral clarity tied to practical planning. Because nothing says ethical like updating your laws before the first immortality lawsuit lands.